Last night I rented Y2K for a whole hearty $15 off Amazon Prime. You know, I have so much to say about this movie where it's just kind of like, I don't even know where to start with it. I think I should start out with before the movie even came out, like marketing and everything, because marketing for this movie, it was genius. So the whole premise of this movie is like, oh, what if Y2K was real and robots took over and it's like a bunch of teenagers? The premise actually sounded really cool. Not only that, but the movie looked amazing. And it was made by A24. And I love A24 so much. A24 combines themes and genres to convey a message in a very artistic way. You've probably watched an A24 movie and thought, wow, this is really good, without realizing that it's an A24 movie. I know what you're thinking, Jack, can you get to the movie? Yes, I'm about to. I just need to get this out of the way first. Just gotta wait. It's gonna pop up in a second. But yeah, there it is. In theaters, my ass. I was planning to go see this movie with friends, and when it came out, we're kind of just like, all right, we don't have time to see it the day it comes out. We'll wait like 3 or 4 days. So we waited literally like 3 or 4 days, and it wasn't in our local theater. The closest theater it was in was 45 minutes away, and it's like those big Cineplex theaters, like the Silver Cities. There was a fair amount of marketing for this movie too. I remember watching trailers in theaters like 3 months before it came out. Also, the marketing was low-key fire. These pictures are awesome. Supposedly A24's best movie that came out this year was The Brutalist. I don't even think it came to theaters, and I haven't heard of it until like a month ago. Just another example of A24 not letting people see their best work on the big screen. All right. That's all I want to talk about before we actually start talking about the movie. Let's just jump into it. These are our two main guys, Eli and Danny. And the first thing I gotta say is that they're written pretty well and they're portrayed by their actors pretty well. They're not really like losers or whatever. They're just not popular. They make a few cum jokes and they call themselves the Sticky Boys, which to me, that's pretty relatable because I make cum and sex jokes a lot. So a scene that really stood out to me is when Danny got high and Eli was just standing there kind of uncomfortably because he wasn't getting high when everyone else was. They made Eli an extremely relatable character, and Danny is also a very relatable best friend. I think they nailed the characters, so that's something positive. There's a scene where Danny and Eli are getting quote-unquote bullied by this guy right here. He calls them Big Nut and Lil Nut and then just starts rapping at them. And they just kind of stand there awkwardly, which I mean, yeah, what else are you gonna do? Danny and Eli want to go to this New Year's party because Eli wants to kiss Rachel Zelger, and then Danny becomes life of the party, then Eli starts having a really bad time, and blah, 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 blah. Very stereotypical. And that's when the movie stops being good. They kind of had this whole relatable teen movie thing going on, but it all just kind of ended when the robots decided to take over. When the robots took over, I still had high hopes, because everyone was dying, the drug addict girl died, half of Fark's posse died, and then Danny died, which was kind of like a ooh moment. Danny dying was bold, but it was kind of whatever, because okay, I guess we just don't get to see this character anymore, and I guess Eli doesn't have any chemistry with anyone except for Laura, so I think it was a really bad decision to kill off Eli this early. And then Farks died because he took rollerblades and grinded on the side of like a basketball net pole and then failed and hit his head and died. So that was really funny, and I thought this movie was going to be like the Suicide Squad, but it wasn't. Let me tell you, it became the most generic movie you could ever think of. We find out that the robots are only taking over their little small town. And it's like, once we take over this town, we're gonna run the world. Which makes 0 sense. Why would you take over this small town and not somewhere like New York? New York, they have like Wall Street, computers galore, the highest tech in probably the whole world, or maybe even the White House. It made no sense. It's dumb. I get this movie's supposed to be camp, but you gotta make it believable sometimes. So the kids save the day because Laura is actually like a nerd girl, because they're building up like, oh, she's popular, but she's actually a nerd. And she creates a computer virus, plugs it into like the main computer, and saves the world. Whoop-de-doo. Also, Fred Durst is in this movie for way longer than he should be. Fred Durst being in the movie just felt like a giant gimmick to me, like a cash grab. Overall, the movie's so generic, I don't have anything to say about it. It wasn't bad. Acting was good, whatever is good, plot is fine, but nothing that really stands out about it, and I think it's just going to be a forgettable movie. Here's my Letterboxd review, and I give it a 6 out of 10. Now here's how I would rate the movie better. First off, since it's Y2K, every single robot is evil across the entire world, and the kids, the cast, people right here, they don't win. And you make it like Suicide Squad, where everyone dies in like a funny, comical way, and it's entertaining throughout the whole movie, kinda, I guess. Well, I sure hope it's entertaining. It better be entertaining. I stole this idea from my girlfriend, where she said instead of a romance movie with Rachel Zelger, it should have been like a bromance movie, because we see Danny and Eli, the sticky boys. They're best friends until Danny dies. So Danny shouldn't die, and he should be up there until the end. What is the ending, you say? Well, it's pretty grim, and they don't win. They get uploaded into cyberspace. They don't die. They're just in like a cyberspace uploaded. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And they're just happy, because I don't think you can make a movie about robots taking over the entire world in just one film. That has to be like 2 movies or a trilogy. You could do it in one film, but it would just be really bad. So yeah, that's it.
The distant future. The year 2000. The distant future. The year 2000. The distant future. The distant future.